Welcome to the City of New York's Eviction Prevention online training. The agenda for this training will cover 4 major items. 1. Defining eviction prevention. 2. Consequences of evictions for owners, tenants, and the city. 3. Best practices to prevent and reduce evictions. And 4. Eviction prevention resources. Note: HPD and HDC are providing this content on behalf of the City of New York and are not responsible or liable for any errors, misrepresentations, or omissions contained herein. If there are any questions on this content or sources, please contact evictionstraining at hpd.nyc.gov. This content is intended for informational purposes only and is not intended to be and does not constitute legal advice or opinion by HPD, HDC, or any of their related entities, officers, employees, agents, attorneys, or representatives. This information is not a complete or final statement of all the responsibilities and rights of owners and tenants regarding laws and rules relating to housing in New York City. The content may not reflect current legal developments. Since the law is constantly changing, and since the law will vary based on different facts and circumstances, statements regarding the status of a given law or legal issue may not be current or applicable to your particular situation. The goal of this training is to provide owners, property managers, and developers of rental housing with information, resources, and best practices to prevent and reduce evictions. The desired outcome is that housing providers will develop new or improve existing policies and procedures to prevent eviction and keep tenants stably housed. The city shares a common goal with building owners and managers to provide quality, affordable housing and to reduce evictions where possible to keep tenants stably housed. Adopting a few low-cost interventions can get you and your tenants the right resources at the right time to prevent an eviction. In this training, we'll provide more detail on key places to access helpful resources and information for both owners and tenants, such as 311's Tenant Helpline and online materials from the city. When we talk about eviction prevention, we mean the range of strategies to help keep tenants stably housed without having to go to housing court. When we refer to an eviction filing in this training, we mean the action of starting a case in housing court. When we talk about an eviction in this training, we mean the actual removal of a tenant and their belongings pursuant to a court order, which can only be carried out by a city marshal. Why is eviction prevention important? Eviction prevention can protect the interests of tenants, property owners and managers, and society at large. As you know, evictions are costly for building owners and managers and demand a lot of your time and resources. The experience of being evicted can be extremely harmful to tenants as well. Evictions can destabilize tenants' employment and incomes. It can also impact their credit and access to financial resources. The stress of eviction can harm their health, both mental and physical. For families, eviction can interrupt a child's education and harm their long-term educational attainment and job prospects. All of these effects can compound on each other. Tenants who have been evicted are more likely to be evicted again, making the downstream impacts more intractable. Once a household is evicted, should they become unhoused, it is extremely costly to the city to provide shelter and treat the effects of eviction. In addition to the social impacts, evictions can lead to increased city spending to assist evicted households. Reducing expenditures on emergency shelter and other services that respond to the effects of eviction may help increase the availability of funds for capital budgets and housing services. Keeping tenants stably housed and out of emergency shelters is central to the mission of city agencies providing affordable housing, which in turn helps us support our partners who make this affordable housing possible. Given the considerable costs of eviction, and based on feedback from many of our partners, we believe that adopting proactive interventions to avoid eviction are more cost-efficient for the city, the tenant, and the owner. When putting together this training, We spoke with some of our owner and property manager partners who shared best practices on avoiding eviction. They gave us the following recommendations. First, make eviction prevention a priority. If possible, dedicate a staff member or several people on your team, even if it's just a part of their time, to eviction prevention work, including proactive outreach, resource referrals, repayment plans, and general liaising with tenants and their concerns. Second, make a habit of systematically and regularly tracking rental payments, arrears, and eviction letters and filings if you don't already. Tracking payments, arrears, and evictions can help owners and property managers observe emerging trends and be ready to give tenants appropriate guidance and resources if an issue arises. Third, when possible, provide tenants with credit building and financial counseling opportunities. You and your tenants can visit the website of the city's Department of Consumer and Worker Protection to get access to financial empowerment resources and information. Fourth, assist in annual recertification and other annual obligations. If you have tenants receiving rental assistance, offer them help with completing annual and interim recertifications. The city created a helpful recertification checklist for both HPD Section 8 and NYCHA Section 8. The checklist outlines instructions for completing interim and annual recertifications, as well as the necessary documentation required. You can find both checklists online at NYC.gov/tenant protection. Fifth, proactively reach out to tenants in arrears. Owners and property managers should engage with tenants to find out why they are unable to pay rent and to see if there is a way to get them help, such as connecting them to city resources. Proactive outreach to tenants could include an email, phone call, courtesy notice, non-legal letters, and in-person meetings. It is best to develop standard, clear, and non-confrontational talking points for staff to use when asking tenants about their arrears and the factors that may have caused them. Sixth, refer tenants to resources from the city and other providers as early as possible. It's a good idea to give tenants information and make sure it's provided to them in multiple, easily accessible ways, such as in flyers, emails, or posted in common areas throughout your buildings. Seventh, try to work out a repayment plan before filing a non-payment action in housing court. This can be more cost-effective than commencing an action in housing court. It's a good idea to create a repayment plan that is realistic based on the tenant's financial situation to allow them to successfully pay back their arrears. The city and many community-based organizations provide financial and legal resources that can help reduce evictions. The next few slides provide an overview of those resources. The city has put together an eviction prevention brochure that outlines many of the key resources and programs that we are about to present. It is available at NYC.gov/tenant protection under the resources section and is translated into 10 languages. It is also available on the training webpage. Access to legal help. If your tenants are at risk of eviction, you can help get them connected with the Tenant Helpline. The Tenant Helpline is a clearinghouse of resources that the city provides to help tenants remain stably housed. To access the Tenant Helpline, you can direct tenants to call 311 and say, "Tenant Helpline," to be connected. The 311 call center representative will connect callers with a voicemail box for the Tenant Helpline, where they must leave their name and phone number to be contacted by helpline staff. Tenants can tell the 311 call center representative and Tenant Helpline staff their preferred language to be connected with someone who speaks that language or with a phone translator. They may also leave a message on the voicemail box in their preferred language to receive a callback in that language. As an alternative, tenants may fill out the Contact Us form on the Mayor's Office to Protect Tenants website so that a Tenant Helpline staffer can contact them. The city's Tenant Helpline connects tenants with tenant support specialists and legal services providers for information, advice, and possible case management or legal representation. This free service is available to all New York City tenants, regardless of income, immigration status, or zip code. The Landlord-Tenant Mediation Program is designed to resolve housing-related issues that have arisen as a result of COVID-19. This program can help tenants and landlords create an agreement outside of housing court to resolve issues that include but are not limited to unpaid rent, lease concerns, or move-outs. You and your tenants can learn more about this free mediation program at NYC.gov/tenant protection. Tenants may also access information about free legal resources by calling the Tenant Helpline or visiting NYC.gov/civil justice. Free legal resources can benefit both owners and tenants. For example, lawyers can assist tenants in obtaining rental assistance and other resources and be able to mediate disputes. Rent and utility assistance. If you have tenants with rental assistance, like Section 8 or City FEPs, who are experiencing difficulty in paying their portion of the rent, you can help direct them to the appropriate agency for assistance. When tenants report decreases in their household income to the administering agency, it can decrease the tenant's share of rent and increase the subsidy amount paid. This way, your tenants can more easily pay their share, and you can continue to receive subsidy for the remaining amount of rent. Instructions on how your tenants can report changes to the appropriate agency are outlined in the following slides. These are also available in the Eviction Prevention brochure, along with specific contact information. The documentation and reporting requirements will depend on the tenant subsidy source. If you have tenants receiving NYCHA Section 8 assistance who are experiencing a loss of income, they should visit the self-service portal. Section 8 participants can report a decrease in household income by completing an interim recertification via the NYCHA self-service portal. Households without internet access may submit a request by mail or call NYCHA's Customer Contact Center for assistance. If you have tenants receiving HPD Section 8 assistance who are experiencing a decrease in income, they should fill out the Reporting Income Decrease form and submit it by email or fax or upload the form to HPD's document portal. The Reporting Income Decrease form is available on HPD's Section 8 Forms webpage. Households without internet access may submit forms and documentation by fax or by mail to HPD Division of Tenant Resources. Please note that HPD's Office of Client Services is currently closed to the public. Specific contact information, including web addresses, email addresses, and phone numbers, are listed in the Eviction Prevention brochure. If you have tenants in the City FEPs program who have experienced income loss, they should submit a request to modify their tenant contribution by email to HRA. The form is available on HRA's City FEPs documentation webpage. Again, these resources for tenants receiving rental assistance are outlined in the Eviction Prevention brochure mentioned earlier. If your tenants need help paying their rent and do not already participate in a rental assistance or rent freeze program, connecting your tenant with resources to help with rent or rental arrears is likely to be more cost-effective than commencing a non-payment proceeding in housing court. The New York City Department of Social Services Human Resources Administration has programs for tenants in need of assistance. Tenants can apply for cash assistance, which includes ongoing monthly rent subsidies and/or one-time emergency assistance, sometimes called one-shot deals, for rent or utility arrears. Tenants can apply for rental assistance by visiting the Access NYC website to determine eligibility. For more information on how to contact Access NYC, you or your tenants can refer to the city's eviction prevention brochure that is available at nyc.gov/tenant protection under resources. Tenants can also apply for rental assistance by contacting the Home Base Homelessness Prevention Program by calling 311 and asking for Home Base, or using the online Home Base locator to call the nearest office. Home Base services can help tenants develop a personalized plan to overcome an immediate housing crisis and achieve housing stability. Tenants may be eligible for Home Base services if they are at imminent risk of entering the New York City shelter system, are low income, and want to remain stably housed in their community. The New York City Rent Freeze program can help eligible tenants living in rent-regulated and affordable housing freeze their rent while compensating owners through a credit to their property taxes. Tenants can learn more about the Rent Freeze program by calling 311. Lastly, tenants can learn more about any of these resources by calling 311 and asking for the Tenant Helpline or filling out the Mayor's Office to Protect Tenants Contact Us form online. Access NYC is a self-screening tool that recommends public benefits programs for your tenants to consider applying to based upon information they enter about their household. There are over 30 programs your tenants may be eligible for, such as SNAP, cash assistance, and Medicaid renewal, regardless of immigration status and even if they're already receiving benefits or have a job. Access NYC will tell your tenants how to apply, but it does not guarantee their applications will be eligible. Visit Access NYC online at NYC.gov/accesshra or with the Access HRA smartphone app. We understand that it can be overwhelming for both you and your tenants to identify the resources for which your tenants are eligible. For this reason, you can encourage tenants to reach out to the following places to better understand resources available to them based on their particular situation. 1. The Tenant Helpline for general tenant and housing-related questions and direction to the most helpful resources. 2. The Tenant Resource Portal, an online tool for helping tenants understand their rights and resources available to them when faced with potential housing instability. 3. Access NYC, for helping tenants find resources that may be available to them. The City of New York would like to thank you for taking the time to complete this training on eviction prevention. We believe that providing both owners and tenants with information and resources is one of the best ways to proactively reduce and prevent evictions from happening. Links and contact information for all of the resources mentioned in this training are available in the Eviction Prevention brochure or online at NYC.gov/tenant protection. If your tenants have housing-related questions or concerns, they can call the Tenant Helpline by calling 311 and asking for the Tenant Helpline. Finally, we appreciate your feedback. If you have found new ways to prevent evictions in your properties, you can tell us about it by submitting an electronic form on the Mayor's Office to Protect Tenants Contact Us page.